This is a Fox News alert. Police refusing to say whether this man, the sixth and final suspect in those gruesome triple murders in Newark, New Jersey, is an illegal immigrant or not. We do know that the person accused of being the so-called ringleader is here illegally. While the investigation continues, my next guest took his presidential campaign to the steps of Newark City Hall to denounce what he calls a sanctuary for illegals. Tom Cavuto says not a penny more for cities like this, and there are several of those cities. He joins us right now. So,
Hi.
Sanctuary cities are what?
Okay, sanctuary cities, there are various forms, but usually it's when a city simply says to their police force, you're not going to communicate with the Immigration and Customs Enforcement when you come across someone who is here illegally. That's it.
So you
That's
don't ask them whether they're here, you don't even go down that path.
That's right. There is a law in this country that says if you have come into the country illegally and then you commit another crime, violent or not, you commit another crime, you are going to serve the time for that crime, then you are supposed to be picked up at that point in time and deported. When you don't tell ICE, when you don't tell Immigration and Customs Enforcement that you have anybody in this category, they don't know that you have an illegal immigrant, then of course he goes right back out onto the street and in this case does what we saw happen here, commits another crime. And that's why I'm saying that sanctuary cities, the people who impose these, the mayor and the city councils of all of these cities who do this, they are culpable. I believe they are culpable in some of these events. Because
well, they say they don't call them sanctuaries per se.
Yeah,
it's a look the other way thing.
They have actually, they have a resolution they've passed and said, and their resolution in Newark is, it starts out with something like, that none of the police in Newark are to discriminate against an illegal immigrant once they come across them. It is to say you're not supposed to ask, you're not supposed to do anything. That's an actual resolution that the city has passed. The mayor's statements in the past, it all combines to make what I call a culture of comfort for illegal immigrants. When
so
you do
illegals
this.
know this is a safe place for me
Sure,
to be.
I can be. Nobody's going to hassle me. Nobody's going to, if I get caught going through a red light, if I get caught drunken driving or anything else, I'll maybe have to pay a fine, but nobody's going to hassle me about being here illegally.
Even if you accept that nonsense, the thing that really raises my ire in this particular case is that the ringleader was arrested not once, not twice, but 3 times on prior serious offenses.
That's exactly right.
And none of this was communicated to authorities, or if it was ignored.
No, and by the way, there is a law, not that we care about these things anymore in immigration, but there is an actual law, a federal law, that says you cannot block the flow of information to, it says INS, because that's what it was at the time, the law was passed, or stop information coming from it. Unfortunately, there are no penalties. So I did, in fact, about a month ago, I attached which I've been trying to do for 8 years, but I finally got it done. I attached an amendment to the Homeland Security Appropriations Bill, saying that no funds can be used in that bill for any city that is a sanctuary city. Now that has to go through the Senate, be signed by the president, and we'll see whether we can hang on to it in this process. I don't know, but they shouldn't be getting a dime. They are making it even worse. And believe me, the federal government has been AWOL on this issue. You know how critical I've been. But that
you're in the race precisely because of this issue.
You bet your life. I mean, there's no two ways about it that this is, I think, one of the most serious domestic policy problems we have. It goes far beyond the issue of just the number of people here illegally and the impact on our schools and our hospitals and all the rest. It really also goes to the culture itself. We are becoming at least a bilingual culture. This is not a good thing. I mean, it's great to be an individual who has bilingual capabilities or multilingual. For a country, it's not. We are splitting up, Neil. I honestly feel like we are this kind of cult of multiculturalism that is exacerbated by massive immigration of people who don't want to assimilate. This is the real problem. Is assimilation going on in this process of immigration today? Not to the extent that it used to. Somebody's got to talk about that because it is a real threat to the country.
Congressman, thank you very much. Very good seeing you in the flesh.
Yeah,
usually you're on remote.
That's exactly right. I don't have that little thing in my ear. I get to talk to you straight.
Very good seeing you. Thank you very much. Well, Brittany, the next Trump apprentice inside.